This happened a couple years ago. I've never suffered from sleep paralysis, but have hallucinated in my sleep before. Not sure if this is sleep paralysis, hallucinations, or something paranormal. I was 23 years old at the time and still lived with my parents. I went to bed that night around 10 p.m. I slept for a good chunk of the night, but woke up around 3 a.m. For context, my bed is in the corner of my room, and on the right is a window, and on the left is my desk. I woke up facing the window, blinked a couple times, stretched, and rolled over to the left side of my bed. I was immediately put into shock at the sight of a woman standing over me. She had black hair and a blank gray face. I stuttered out, "Mom?" No response. I absolutely flipped out and twisted my way out of my bed. I don't know if it was my imagination, but I swear my leg touched whatever this thing was when I was getting out of my bed. I ran to my parents' room yelling. I told my dad someone was in my room. In a state of shock, my dad was frozen. We both snapped out of it, and my dad grabbed a baseball bat from behind his nightstand. We turned on the lights, and nobody was there. I ended up spending the rest of the night on my parents' couch. Morning came, and we searched the house for any evidence that someone was there. We never found anything. The next night, around the same time, my dogs were going absolutely crazy downstairs, barking and howling. I was too scared to get out of my bed, so I just laid there till they stopped. Needless to say, I didn't get any sleep the rest of the night. Once again, we checked the house in the morning and found nothing. The third and final night came, and I was awakened by the fire alarm going off at about 3 a.m. that night and shot up out of my bed. I walked to the hallway and saw nothing. Eventually, it stopped, and surprisingly, I was able to get a good night's sleep. The next morning, I decided I had enough of this. I opened my Bible and left it open to my favorite verse on my desk next to my bed. From this point on, I haven't had anything like this occur. I talked to my friends and they said it was most likely sleep paralysis, but that wouldn't explain the events that followed. I don't know what was in my house those 3 nights, but I'm glad it hasn't paid another visit. I've suffered with sleep paralysis throughout my life off and on, and it's gotta be one of the scariest things I've experienced. If you've never had sleep paralysis, let me just explain what it's like. Imagine having your worst nightmare come to life and being paralyzed while it plays out in front of your eyes. You're laying there in bed, eyes open, you can't move, and you just have to wait till it's over. This is what I've gone through multiple times in my life, and I'm terrified to go to sleep for the fear it will happen again. One of the worst ones I've had happened a couple nights ago, and it really messed me up. I went to sleep like any other night, but was awakened with an old lady standing at my bedroom door. She kept walking in and out, and about 5 times of her doing this, she started laughing. I'm sitting there in my bed, completely paralyzed, trying to talk and wake myself up with no success. She kept doing this, and then stopped all of a sudden. She slowly turned her head to face mine. The laughing came back, and she pulled a massive machete from behind her back and slowly started walking towards me. She climbed up onto my bed and started rubbing the knife on my stomach. She raised the knife up, ready to strike, and as it came down, hit my stomach. I snapped out of it. I was awake now, but I had an awful stomachache, so I rushed to the bathroom thinking I really did get stabbed. But when I turned on the light, I was relieved to see that wasn't the case. I found out later that morning that the stomachache was related to food poisoning, but that is my latest and most scary sleep paralysis episode, and I truly hope I never get that again. Two nights ago, I had sleep paralysis for what I believe to be the first time. It happened in a series of 3 nightmares, the second being what I think to be sleep paralysis. In the first, I was standing in the bathroom near my room, and I felt a feeling of something entering my body, almost as if they were pushing me away. While this was happening, I was presented an image of my face, but it was completely blurry and void of any features, but I just knew I was looking at myself. Then a man, as big as a ceiling and wide as ever, opened the door. He walked in the room and looked at me. It was evil, I could just tell, and then it spoke with a voice that felt like it was crushing me with just so much power. I could feel his voice as if it was pressing around my entire body. He was asking me questions, and I remember getting a name from him that started with an A. I couldn't remember it because of the dream that came after this. I'm a Catholic, and I have a prayer every night before I go to bed. The idea of this prayer is to surrender yourself to God. This next portion is what I believe to be sleep paralysis. I was laying in my bed. I woke up and was completely still in my bed. Next thing I know, I'm laying on my back, looking to my right, and this massive man with a head as wide as his shoulders is standing next to my bed. He was holding onto my leg, and it felt like he was trying to pull me out. He kept tugging and tugging, and the pain just kept getting worse and worse. I couldn't move or do anything, but in this state of shock, I was able to say the prayer that I usually do in my head, and boom, I wake up. I was sitting on the edge of my bed for a little bit, just wondering what exactly just happened, but then I went to the bathroom and went back to bed. I had another nightmare, but it wasn't special. I was trapped in this dark hallway with kids, and there was a man who convinced me to go to his door in the hallway, which was his house. I don't remember the details, but it was really kind of weird. Overall, the middle dream was absolutely terrifying, and I hope I never have to experience that again.